Once upon a time, in the small village of Ndani, there lived a retired railway worker named Akachukwu. Akachukwu was a 65-year-old widower who had 3 children, 2 girls and 1 boy. His eldest daughter, Ugo, a beautiful 21-year-old secondary school leaver, had to take on the responsibility of taking care of her siblings after their mother died while giving birth to her last child. Ugo attended a government secondary school and finished at the age of 18, but because of lack of money, Ugo could not further her education. Now 21, and with a father who could barely cater for all his children after his retirement, Ugo did all she could to make sure her siblings had food to eat and attend the free government schools in the community. Ugo would go to other people's farm to weed and cultivate their farms, after which she would be paid for her services. Not only that, she also did other chores for people like fetching water for their water storage pots, washing their dirty clothes, and even cooking for them. She did all these so that her younger ones would not starve. Ugo, who had a big dream of studying law and becoming a senior advocate, had to abandon her dreams to help her family. And the beautiful thing was that she did all this with a smile on her face always. Little wonder she was well loved and always had jobs from people because of how sincere and hardworking she was. Akachukwu, Ugo's father, seeing how poverty had rendered him helpless from training his children, vowed that he was going to put an end to poverty in his family. And the only way he thought of achieving this purpose was by marrying off his first daughter, Ugo, to a very rich man. He believed that doing so would provide him with the resources he needed to enjoy life and live large. Akachukwu only thought about himself, and not for once did he put his children into consideration. All the years he worked as a railway worker and was on a monthly salary, not once did he make plans for his children's future. All he could do at the time was buy few foodstuffs for the home and then spend the rest on women and nightlife. It was this same selfish nature of his that made Ugo, his daughter, to start hustling quite early to help her siblings. Since Ugo did not get the love and attention she ought to have gotten from her father, Ugo looked forward to marrying a man that would love and protect her. While in secondary school, she had heard and also read about stories of how people fell in love, and she wanted the same thing for herself. And because of how hardworking and beautiful she was, Ugo always had male admirers coming her way. But the one that captured her heart was Chidy, a male tailor who always admired Ugo's hardworking nature. Chidy would always make out time to help Ugo out in the farms she was paid to work on. Both of them shared their dreams and always looked out for each other. Wanting to reduce the hardship Ugo had to go through to take care of her siblings, Chidy asked to go for her hand in marriage, which Ugo excitedly accepted. To her, she was finally going to enjoy being loved by the man of her dreams who cared so much for her. Ugum, Chidy started, "I'm so happy you have accepted to be my wife. I have big plans for you. But first of all, you will have to go back to school to achieve your dreams of becoming a lawyer. I will work day and night to raise all the money you need to further your education. I know you'll be worried about your siblings and who will take care of them while you are studying. But don't worry, I also have them in mind. I thank God that my tailoring shop is expanding and I have more people working for me to meet up with the orders I get. I believe that everything will work out, and with you by my side, we will get to any height we want to get to in this life," he said. Ugo, who was lost for words, ran into Chidy's arms in a warm embrace and then looked up to look into his eyes. "Chidy, my love, You have made me the happiest woman on earth. It will be an honor to be your wife. You are kind, sincere, and hardworking. I always marvel at how you will leave your work and come to help me in completing my chores. How many men would do that? I do not for once doubt that you will keep to your words. My promise to you is that I will also make you proud. Already, you know that I'm not a lazy girl, so even while studying, I will still be hustling to help out so that the load will not be too much on you, she said. My heart is filled with joy, my love, Chidy replied. You need to inform your father of my intentions towards you. He will then give you the go-ahead to ask us to come for the introduction and the other necessary marital rites I am to undertake. I will go right now and inform him. I am sure that he will be very excited with the news. Ugo rushed home to go and inform her father of what has just happened. Papa, I have met a wonderful man. His name is Chidy and he wants to marry me. He is that famous tailor in our village who is very well known for his craft. He's very hardworking and has promised to take care of me and also help me further my education so that I can become a lawyer. Papa, do you know that this man Chidy would leave his work and come with me to the farm to help me finish my work faster? I am so happy, Papa. I thank the gods for giving me a man that I love and would be happy to spend the rest of my life with. While Ugo was still speaking, her father, Akachukwu, cut her short with harsh words. Nonsense, he shouted. You are too young to know what love is. Who is this tailor that you are here raving about? How much can a tailor provide for you? I thought you would bring me a governor's son as the person asking for your hand in marriage. Instead, here you are jumping around like a child who has been given a piece of meat, all because of a common tailor. Listen, I have big plans for you, and I will not allow you to jeopardize that for me. Don't worry yourself. Since you cannot get me a wealthy man to marry you, I will find one for you. Someone who can provide for you and our family and make me a rich man for once in my life. But Papa, Ugo pleaded, Chidy is the man I want to spend my life with. We love each other and together he will help me achieve my dreams of becoming a lawyer. And once I become one, Papa, you'll be proud of me because I will make sure to put a smile on your face. But Akachukwu would not listen. He was determined to marry Ugo off to a wealthy man. He had always believed that financial stability was the key to a good life. Young woman, you do not know anything about marriage. When you are hit with poverty like the one I am in, you will forget everything about love. You will spend every day crying, and by then, it will be too late to leave the marriage. Besides, with a wealthy man, you will not lack the money to further your education, if that is what you want. Please, I don't want to hear anything about love and that tailor you just mentioned. I will not accept his marriage proposal to you, so better tell him to stay away from you, Akachukwu said and went back into his room. In the days that followed, Akachukwu began his search for a suitable husband for Ugo. He met with various wealthy men from neighboring villages, assessing their fortunes, but none was wealthy enough for him. Ugo watched helplessly as her father made plans for her future without considering her feelings. She tried to talk to her father again, hoping to change his mind. Papa, please understand that money isn't everything. I want to marry someone I love, someone who makes me happy. Akachukwu's face hardened. Love does not put food on the table, Ugo. You will understand this when you are older. My decision is final. You will marry a wealthy man and you will learn to love him. Ugo's heart broke at her father's words. She knew that convincing him would be impossible, She could only hope that somehow fate would intervene and allow her to be with Chidy. Until then, she would have to endure her father's strict rules and the constant pressure to marry a man she did not love. From that day on, Akachukwu watched Ugo closely. Whenever he saw her with a male friend or love interest, he would shout at her and make sure she starves for the rest of the day. Helpless Ugo felt trapped in her own home, unable to express her true feelings or pursue her own happiness. Meanwhile, Ugo had told Chidy how her father had refused giving her hand in marriage to him. She wept so hard that you could tell that her heart was broken. Chidy held her tightly and assured her that he would meet with her father and make him change his mind. The following day, Chidy went with a bottle of a very expensive wine and some of the finest already made clothes he was selling in his tailoring shop to meet Ugo's father. The moment Chidy introduced himself to Akachukwu, Akachukwu cut him short, just the way he had shut up Ugo the day she told him of Chidy's intentions towards her. So, you are the Chidy, the so-called hard-working and popular tailor in our village? What gave you the impetus to come into my home to ask for my daughter's hand in marriage? Didn't my daughter tell you that I do not want her to have anything to do with you? You came here with a bottle of wine and clothes to deceive me into accepting your proposal to my daughter. Meanwhile, my mates are getting car gifts from men that are seeking for their daughters' hands in marriage. You think I will fall for this cheap trap and release my daughter to you? You lie. Please leave my house at once and never speak to my daughter again. Papa, please hear me out, Chidy began. I have the best intentions for your daughter. I might not be able to provide a car gift for you at the moment, but I promise you that one day I'll provide you with a bigger gift than a car. All I want is her happiness and to help her fulfill her dreams. Please, give me a chance, Papa, and you will never regret accepting me as your son-in-law. Who are you calling Papa? Please, I do not want to hear that from your mouth. I am talking about money, riches, and you are here filling my ears with promises. Will I eat promises? So you want my daughter's fate to end up like mine? Well, I don't blame you. You have not tasted money, so you think that all those pennies they pay you for your cheap tailoring work is what will buy me a car. Or maybe you want to buy the car for me when I am very old, I cannot enjoy the car. See, Mr. Taylor, I have asked you to leave my house before and you are still here. If I enter my room and return and you are still here, you will live to regret stepping your feet inside my house, Akachukwu said as he stormed off. Chidy left looking very sad and defeated. Having been barred from speaking to Chidy, Ugo and Chidy often met at discreet places to console each other and to keep their dreams of getting married alive. They were careful to keep their meetings secret, but Akachukwu was always watching. One day, as both of them were seated, speaking and holding each other in one of the farmlands Ugo was paid to clear, Akachukwu found them. Unknowingly to Ugo, her father had followed her as she left for work that particular day. Furiously, he shouted, "Ugo, come here at once." Ugo, shocked to see her father, quickly stood up and ran to him, trembling. "Papa, please, we were just talking." Akachukwu's face turned red with anger. "Have I not warned you never to speak with this man again? How dare you defy my orders? Since you have made up your mind to keep seeing him, I'll make sure you regret it. You are forbidden from leaving the house or talking to any man until I find you a suitable husband. he said as he dragged her home. Ugo spent the following days at home, always crying. Her siblings were too young to understand what she was going through and could only wipe her tears whenever they saw her crying. The weight of her father's control kept pressing down on her, making it difficult to breathe. But Akachukwu did not care that his daughter was heartbroken. Instead, he would make Ugo work in the house from dawn till dusk, cleaning, cooking, and tending to the household. He believed that hard work would keep her mind off Chidy and any other potential suitors. Akachukwu intensified his search for a wealthy suitor. One fateful day, he went to the pension office in the city to complain of his pension that he was yet to be receiving. He came across a man and a young lady quarreling inside a car parked by the road. They were both inside a very expensive jeep parked very close to where Akachukwu was standing and waiting for a bus to take him to his next destination. Because both of them were shouting at each other, Akachukwu overheard everything they were talking about. "You are the most senseless and useless man I have ever come across in my life. I sacrificed everything just to make you happy, but you never for once put me first in your life. All you know is work, work and work. Even at that, you will not let me be free. You keep sending people to be monitoring me. What have I achieved in the over 6 years I have been with you? You claim to be loving, but never make time for me. And at every little provocation, you will hit me. You will not allow me speak to any man, but you keep changing girls like you change your clothes. How many more years do I have to spend with you before you find me worthy of being your wife? Anyway, I am no longer going to keep waiting for you. You can go ahead with your numerous girlfriends and cheating ways. I am out of this worthless relationship," the lady yelled as she got out of the car and slammed the door behind her. "Stella! Stella!" the man yelled back. "If you walk away from me, make sure to never return. I am not joking. I will never take you back. You will never meet a man like me who can wipe away poverty from your family forever. Stella! Stella! I hope you know what you are doing." Akachukwu's ear perked on hearing the man say that he was willing to wipe away poverty from the lady's family forever. Without wasting time, Akachukwu drew closer to the man to provide unsolicited advice. "My son, how are you? Hope there is no problem." "Oga, there is no problem," the man replied harshly. "Please don't be offended," Akachukwu began, leaning on the car door. "But I overheard that lady insulting you and belittling you. I thought it was a small boy that she was talking to, only to draw closer to see a full-grown responsible man. Young women of these days, where are their manners? I am sure that young woman did not come from a good home, else she would have been trained never to speak to a grown man in that manner. My daughter would never speak to you in such a manner. She is well brought up to worship the ground you walk on. I wish you met her. You would have been amazed at how well behaved she is. And to top it all, she is very beautiful, young and ripe for marriage. If you don't mind, I could bring her for you to see." Akachukwu kept talking unashamed. "Sir, I am not interested in any girl or your daughter for that matter. I am in a hurry and I have to go now," the man said and was about to drive off. "My son, please, if you do not mind, I have been standing here for a long time waiting for a vehicle to take me to the park, but have not seen any. Can I please join you so that you can drop me off? I know you may not be headed to the park, but anywhere you stop me will be better than here that I am. Please, my son," Akachukwu said. "Oga, you are really testing my patience. Do you know me before?" Why are you bent on wasting my time? Anyway, why am I even talking to you? The man said as he zoomed off. Just few blocks away, the man stopped and reversed. He came back to where Akachukwu was and asked him to enter his car. Akachukwu jumped in with speed that you would wonder where such strength came from for a man his age. He feared that wasting time might make the man change his mind. Thank you very much, my son. I said it, that you are a good man. See how you came back for me. I am very grateful. Let me say a prayer for you. You will never lack, and you will never meet bad people in life, and you will marry a good wife that will not insult you or disrespect you all the days of your life. Akachukwu kept talking. Thank you for the prayer. By the way, my name is Larry. I don't know why, but I just felt I should consider your offer of seeing your daughter. If she is everything you said she is, then I don't mind marrying her. Larry said, Ah, my son, you have made the best decision of your life. My daughter is just the perfect woman for you. You will not regret it, I promise you. And my name is Akachukwu. Larry went on to drop off Akachukwu at the park, and they both agreed on the day and location he would bring his daughter to the city to meet him. On the agreed day, Akachukwu woke up very early, told Ugo to get ready, that she was going to accompany him to the city. He did not tell his daughter why they were going to the city. He only made sure she wore her best attire and beautified her hair. They met with Larry at one of his 5-star hotels in the city. It turned out that Larry was very, very rich and has chains of businesses that generates income for him on a daily basis. The moment Larry set his eyes on Ugo, he liked how beautiful, innocent and timid she looked. He told Akachukwu outrightly that he was going to marry his daughter. Ugo did not understand what was going on. Looking at Larry, her first impression of him was that of a controlling man with an imposing figure who is also very stern. Ugo felt a chill run down her spine as she watched him interact with her father. Larry did not even try to get to know her or to properly ask for her hand in marriage. It was as if she was a transaction that Larry and her father needed to close out on. After the meeting, Larry gave Akachukwu bundles of money and told him that he was going to come with his kinsmen the following week for introduction and to collect the traditional marriage list. This gladdened Akachukwu's heart so much that he got to work immediately to draw up a long list for the marital rites. This is the time for me to recover all my wasted years. I am going to be rich, super rich. All the people that made fun of me and called me a poor and lazy man will regret the day they called me such. By the time my rich in-law builds me a new house, buys me a jeep, and changes my life for the better, all of them that laughed at me will come begging at my feet, Akachukwu thought to himself. Meanwhile, Ugo lived in fear of what was to come. She can already deduce that Larry was not the kind of man she dreamt of getting married to. She could tell from their first encounter that he was an overbearing and controlling man who cared little or nothing about her feelings. The thought of being married to him filled her with dread. She tried to talk to her father one last time, hoping to change his mind. Papa, please, Ugo begged. I do not love Larry. He is much older than me. It is Chidy that I love. Please reconsider your plans and allow me marry Chidy, the man that wants my happiness. I have warned you never to mention that name Chidy in this house anymore. You will marry Larry and you will learn to love him. He can provide for you and our family. That is all that matters, Akachukwu said firmly. Ugo cried and pleaded, but her father would not change his mind. The traditional wedding preparations began, and Ugo felt her heart breaking even more. The whole preparation went on without her father or Larry asking for her input. Ugo's misery grew at the thought of spending her life with Larry, a man she did not know, did not love, and could never love. She felt as if her life was slipping away, and there was nothing she could do to stop it. She confided in her friends, hoping they might offer some advice or support. They were all sympathetic, but powerless to help her. The traditions of their village were strong, and defying one's parents was almost unheard of. On the day of the introduction, Larry arrived with his kinsmen and a lot of gifts for Akachukwu and Ugo. He collected the marriage list and was shocked to see the items on the list. Although money was never his problem because he was filthy rich, nevertheless, he couldn't believe the items listed on the list. Contained in the list were a 2-story building built in the city and tastefully furnished for the father of the bride, a duplex for the father of the bride in the village, 2 jeeps, and a luxurious bus, then 5 million naira bridal price. These were just the minor ones. There were other outrageous items mentioned on the list. Larry knew that Akachukwu made up that list to enrich himself because he could already tell that he was a greedy and selfish man. Being a smart guy that he was, Larry agreed to fulfill everything on the list, but said that building the houses both in the city and in the village would take some time and would delay his plans of getting married to Ugo. But he would need to place a special order for the jeeps and the luxurious bus because he wanted nothing but the best for his father-in-law. He then pleaded that they accept the 5 million naira bridal price while he goes ahead with the traditional wedding, promising to provide the others as soon as the wedding was over. Akachukwu did not even wait for his own kinsmen to deliberate on what Larry said, to know whether to accept his offer or not. On hearing that the 5 million naira would be paid, he accepted and asked Larry to go ahead and provide other things mentioned in the list, apart from the houses and vehicles. The day for the traditional wedding arrived, and Larry and his kinsmen, friends and relations came prepared with boxes of clothes and African wrappers, jewelries, and the rest as contained in the list. Already, he had made preparations for different kinds of food for the day and paid for them. It was indeed a rich traditional wedding, only that the bride in question, Ugo, looked miserable, like a sheep being taken to the slaughterhouse. Then, when it was time to pay the bride price, he provided them with a check of 5 million naira. Happy and excited Akachukwu could not contain his joy. He held on to the check as if his life depended on it. He gladly prayed for Larry and Ugo for a successful marriage and sent them on their way. Akachukwu ate and made merry, still clutching onto the check in his hand. He could not wait for the weekend to be over so that he can go to the bank and cash out the check. Little did Akachukwu know that his own misery was about to begin. He was about to find out that Larry tricked him and played him at his own game. The night before Monday, Akachukwu could not sleep. He stayed up all night, thinking of how he was going to cash out the 5 million naira Larry gave him as his daughter's bride price. He even started drawing up a list of what he was going to do with the money. When it was finally Monday, Akachukwu dressed up quickly and got ready to go to the city to cash the check. He didn't even have his bath nor ate breakfast. He only managed to brush his teeth so that his mouth won't be smelling while talking to the cashier at the bank. While inside the bus, Akachukwu felt sleepy because he didn't sleep the previous night. But instead of him to relax and take a little nap, like he usually does when going to the city, Akachukwu clung tightly to his bag containing the check. He saw everyone inside the bus as a suspect, and so he forced himself to stay awake all through. On reaching the bank, Akachukwu sat patiently, waiting for his turn to be attended to. When it was finally his turn, he excitedly brought out the check and handed it to the cashier. The cashier took the check and after checking it on her system, gave the check back to Akachukwu. "Sir, please take your check. We cannot honor this check because it is a bounced check." "What do you mean by it is a bounced check? Do you know who gave me this check? My very rich son-in-law gave me this check, and you are here telling me it's a bounced check. Little girl, I know that you have never handled such money before because of the peanuts they pay you people here as salary. Or maybe you have looked at me and thought to yourself that I cannot handle such money. But I laugh. Please, if you don't know what to do, call your superior to come and cash my check, and don't waste my time any further," Akachukwu said. He kept on insisting that the cashier should call her superior to attend to him. His voice began to rise to the point that he drew the attention of the bank manager. "Good morning, sir. Please, what could be the problem?" the bank manager asked. "This little girl here has refused to clear my check. I gave her my check of 5 million naira, and instead of her to tell me that the money is too much for her to process, she is here telling me that it is a bounced check. See, manager, you people should take these little girls for proper training before allowing them to work for you. Imagine the incompetence. Please, don't be offended, sir. I will personally attend to you. Do come with me, please." Akachukwu quickly followed the manager to his office, but took a moment to look back at the cashier that attended to him and gave her a wicked grin. After a series of checks on his computer system, the bank manager said, "Sir, I'm sorry to say, but this your check is a bounced check. You need to get back to the person that gave it to you." "What are you people saying? It seems there is something wrong with your bank. I believe there is something wrong with this branch of your bank. I will take my check to another branch where I will be properly attended to." Akachukwu went to another branch and was told the same thing. Immediately, he stepped outside the bank. He dialed Larry's phone number and it was not going through. He kept trying his number and got the same response each time. Akachukwu could not reach his daughter, Ugo, on phone because Larry had promised to get her a phone when they got to the city. Since he could not get Larry with his phone, he went to a call center and tried Larry's number, and it rang on the first trial. After a few rings, Larry picked the call. "Ah, my son Larry, it is me, your father-in-law. How are you and your family? I hope you people are doing well." Akachukwu was still speaking when Larry cut the call on him. He tried the number again and it stopped going through. Akachukwu did not know that Larry, on hearing his voice, blocked the line from calling him like he blocked his own number. Akachukwu thought it was a network issue and kept going to different call centers to call Larry. The call would go through, but as soon as Larry picks and hears his voice, he would block that number. After several attempts, Akachukwu went back to the village, but decided that he was going to pay Larry a visit in the city. He was more concerned about Larry's well-being, praying that all was well with him. His concern was because of the 5 million naira and the promises he made to him. The following day, he made his way back to the city. The only challenge was that he didn't know where Larry's house in the city was. It was due to his selfish greed that made him forget that he was supposed to ask questions about his intending in-law, which was the tradition. He was supposed to inquire about Larry's family and their lineage to know if they had a good reputation or not. He was even supposed to find out where Larry lived in the city and ask questions about him as well. But no, he quickly accepted Larry and gave out his daughter, Ugo, to him. Left with no other choice, Akachukwu made his way to Larry's 5-star hotel, where they met the first time he took Ugo to meet him. He got there and inquired about Larry, but was told that Larry was not around. Akachukwu waited and waited until sometime around evening, he saw Larry stepping into the hotel. Excitedly, Akachukwu rushed to Larry to give him a hug, but Larry pushed him away. "My son, I'm so happy to see you. I have been so worried, wondering if everything was alright. I came all the way from the village this morning and have been sitting here waiting for you. How are you and my daughter? I hope you people..." "Old man, what are you doing here?" Larry cut him short angrily. "My son, I hope everything is alright. I came to see if both of you are okay. You sound like you don't recognize me anymore. It's me, Akachukwu, your father-in-law. I know who you are. Did I ask you to come here looking for me? By the way, it is barely 1 week after the traditional marriage, and you are already here. Is this how you intend to be bothering me and my wife? Please go back to the village. In due time, I will come and see you in the village." "But my son, the check," Akachukwu started. "The check bounced, and I told them that they don't know what they are saying. So I brought it back so that maybe you can give me another one. Please, here it is," Akachukwu said as he brought out the check and handed it to Larry. "Go and sort yourself out with the bank. I have given you a check, and that is all that matters. Like I said before, go back to the village and I will come and see you soon." "But I don't even know where you live. It's late in the evening already, and I was thinking that you would take me to your house to pass the night there and also see my daughter." Larry brought out his wallet and counted out 3,000 naira. "Here, leave these premises at once. Like I said, I will come and see you sometime soon. Use this and take yourself back to the village," Larry said as he threw the money at him and went upstairs to his reserved hotel room. Akachukwu stood in bewilderment. He couldn't believe what has just happened. Larry, his own rich son-in-law, could not even welcome him properly, would not take him to his house to see his daughter, and even threw a meager 3,000 naira at him. No, something must be wrong. Maybe someone offended him and he was not in a good mood. Perhaps by tomorrow he will be in a better mood and will even apologize for the way he treated him this evening. Since it was already late to get a bus that would take him back to the village, Akachukwu begged the security men to allow him to spend the night in their security room. Out of pity, they allowed him. The next morning, Akachukwu quickly made his way back into the hotel reception, asking for Larry. But none of the receptionists dared disturb Larry in his hotel room. Akachukwu sat on one of the cushions, waiting patiently in case Larry came down. A few hours later, Larry came down holding the hand of a young girl that was scantily dressed. Akachukwu stood up and walked up to him to speak to him, but Larry ignored him as if he didn't know who he was, entered his car with the girl, and drove off. Akachukwu, looking very tired and famished, decided to go back to the village and wait for Larry like he instructed him to do. Meanwhile, back at Larry's mansion was Ugo, who now looked like a shadow of herself. The once cheerful and happy young woman now wears a sad look every day. It turned out that immediately she and Larry got back from the traditional marriage, Larry warned her never to step out of the house. And to make sure she followed others, he instructed the gateman never to allow Ugo leave the house. Larry also restricted her to some parts of the house. She was not allowed to handle any phone or even call anyone. She was only allowed to come downstairs when Larry permitted her to come and see his guests. Larry also instructed the cooks and housekeepers not to interact with Ugo. They were only to go to her when they want to pass her food to her or clean her room. Ugo lived in isolation, crying and weeping and refusing to eat. Her supposed husband, Larry, treated her like a slave. In fact, he already told her that her only role in his life was to bear him children. Ugo barely saw Larry, and even the few nights he came in to lay with her, he rough handles her and leaves her afterward like a prostitute he paid for her services. Ugo could not speak to anyone. Few times she tried to speak to the housekeepers or the cooks. They were all afraid to respond because there were CCTV cameras everywhere, covering everything that was happening in the house. She kept losing weight because she wasn't eating as she should. But other than food, her state of mind was the main reason why she was looking sick. Back in the village, Akachukwu waited and waited. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, and yet there was no sign of Larry. By this time, Akachukwu had already started feeling the heat. He had been sustaining himself with the proceeds he got from selling most of the items Larry brought during the traditional wedding. He was beginning to understand that Larry was not going to fulfill any of the promises he made before marrying his daughter. Akachukwu decided to go looking for Larry again, and this time he vowed never to return back without a positive result. The following morning, he got to the park and boarded a bus to the city. On reaching the hotel, he was met by the security men who stopped him at the gate and refused granting him access to the hotel. The security men had previously been instructed by Larry to look out for Akachukwu and to prevent him from entering the hotel anytime they sighted him. Akachukwu did all he could to force his way into the hotel, but to no avail. He begged the security men to give him the address of Larry's house so that he could see his daughter, but no one answered him because, first of all, they had no idea where Larry lived, and even if they did, they dare not give out such information. Akachukwu, now realizing the grave mistake he made by giving away his daughter in marriage to Larry, held his head with his two hands. He regretted marrying off his daughter to such a man as Larry. It dawned on him that Larry had played a fast one on him, and his greed did not allow him to see through him. Since he wasn't allowed entrance into the hotel, nor was he allowed to hang around outside the hotel, Akachukwu sat in front of the building next to the hotel. He noticed that every evening, Larry would drive in with different vehicles and always had a different female passenger sitting in front of the vehicle with him. Each time Akachukwu would try to approach him, Larry would quickly drive into the hotel, and the security men would not allow him enter to speak to Larry. This kept on happening and after spending 8 days to no avail, Akachukwu returned back to the village. When he returned, his 2 children were looking very sick and malnourished because he left very little food for them before leaving for the city. Day after day, Akachukwu's reality began to set in. Not only had he been deceived by Larry, his daughter, Ugo, who used to work for people to provide for the family, was no longer with him. He began to understand how important Ugo was to him and his household. For the first time in his life, he broke down in tears, weeping and wailing on top of his voice. Ugom, my daughter, please forgive me. I should have listened to you. I should have allowed you to marry the man you wanted to marry. I allowed my greed and quest for wealth to cloud my judgment. Now, I don't even have anything to live off of. And worst still, I don't even know your whereabouts. Oh, my poor daughter. Who knows what she is going through in the hands of this man? Gods of our land, please show my daughter mercy and protect her from this man called Larry. The next day, Akachukwu called for a meeting with his kinsmen. He told them of everything he had been through trying to reach Larry and his daughter. He asked them to intervene since they were all there to eat and drink when he gave away his daughter in marriage to Larry. Akachukwu, my brother, one of the elder kinsmen, started. You called us for a meeting to come and intervene in the issue you are having with your in-law. So, it is now that you remembered that you have kinsmen. When you told us that someone was coming for your daughter's hand in marriage, and we asked you if you had made inquiry regarding the man's family, what did you say? Asked us to forget about that, saying that you have already taken care of that aspect. Now, you don't even know how to locate your in-law in his village or in the city. Even when you made those outrageous demands that you listed as marriage list, we warned you, but you wouldn't listen. You even allowed him to go ahead with the marriage without providing what you listed in that list you made up. And even the 5 million naira he paid as bride price, you ate it all alone. And now you are here asking us to come and intervene because we ate and drank at your daughter's traditional wedding. You are not serious, my brother, the man said and sat down. What 5 million naira are you talking about? The one that he gave me a fake check for? See, my brothers, I am one of you. I accept that I made a lot of mistakes, and although I regret my actions, there is nothing that can be done now but to try and rescue my daughter, who is also your daughter, from the hands of this wicked man. The only reason I will make an effort in rescuing Ugo is because she is a good girl and well loved by all of us. She doesn't deserve what she is going through, and my prayer is that the gods will protect her until we find her and bring her back home, the elder said. Few days later, some of the kinsmen went in search of Larry's family. They went to the village he claimed to be his hometown, but no one seemed to know who he was. They visited all the Njoko families in that village because Larry had claimed that he came from Njoko's family, but none of the families knew him. The kingsmen returned back to the village, Ndani, and called for a meeting with Akachukwu in attendance. My brothers, one of the kingsmen started, you people sent us out on a mission to go and seek our in-laws' family, and we have returned with a feedback. My brothers, I'm afraid to say this, but it seems like our daughter has been married off to a ghost. We asked all the Njoko families in Isiokpo village, which is where our in-law said he was from, but no one seemed to know or even heard of him before. We even slept over and continued our search the following day, but not even one person could provide us with the information we sought. At a point, we started checking out any compound that looked like a rich man's home and asked if the owner of the house was our in-law, but we were all left disappointed. While the kinsman was still speaking, Akachukwu fell on his knees, letting out a loud cry. "Chimo, my own is finished. What did you just say? That no one has ever heard of Larry in Isiopo village? Hey, my daughter Ugo, where could she be? What has happened to my daughter? Chai, my ancestors, please come to my rescue. Please help me. Please forgive me. Please help me." Akachukwu continued weeping. Akachukwu, the elder kinsman, continued, "Get a grip of yourself. All hope is not lost. Since you said you know of the man's hotel in the city, we will also go there and demand for our daughter's whereabouts." After the meeting, the elders agreed to go with Akachukwu to the city to see Larry. They all got to the city and went straight to Larry's hotel. On sighting Akachukwu, the security men stopped them from gaining access to the hotel. Knowing that arguing or trying to persuade the security men to let them into the hotel was an effort in futility, Akachukwu asked the kinsmen to withdraw to the next building with him and wait for Larry. As usual, as it was getting late in the evening, Akachukwu sighted Larry driving in with another young woman into the hotel. Already, Akachukwu had informed his kinsmen to be on alert and be ready to force their way in once the security men opened the gate for Larry to drive in. As he gave them a signal, all the kinsmen, including Akachukwu, ran after Larry's car and forcefully made their way into the hotel. Larry got down from the car and approached them. "What is going on here? Why are you all scampering about like you are pursuing a thief? Can someone explain what is going on here?" "In-law," the elder kinsman began, "we are your in-laws from Ndani, the place you came to marry our daughter Ugo. We have waited to hear from you, but we have not heard anything. All the promises you made when you came to marry our daughter, you have only fulfilled a few. But that is not even the issue now. We have not heard from our daughter Ugo since the wedding. We want to know how our daughter is doing," he said. "Well, if you must know, your daughter Ugo is fine. Since you people did not inform me before coming, neither did I give you approval to come and see me, you people will have to return back to the village and wait for when both of us will pay you a visit," Larry said. "You are a liar, a blatant liar. You said the same thing to me the last time I spoke with you. You prevented me from seeing or speaking with you. It has been more than 5 months since you asked me to go back to the village, that you will come and see me, but have not honored your word. Today, you must provide my daughter, or I will burn down this hotel of yours," Akachukwu said, looking very angry and ready to fight Larry. "Elders, like I said, please go back to where you are coming from, and at the right time, I will come and pay you people a visit," Larry said. Akachukwu immediately grabbed Larry's shirt and held on to it tightly. "You must show me my daughter today, or you will not live to tell the story. I demand to see my daughter at once, Mr. Man," Akachukwu said. Larry raised his hand and gave a signal to the security men. It wasn't up to 15 minutes and policemen landed at the hotel and bundled Akachukwu and all the kinsmen into their police van straight to the station. But before they took them away, Larry came to where Akachukwu was sitting with handcuffs on his hands. "Old man, it seems you do not know who you are messing with. It seems like you did not ask questions about me before trying the rubbish you did today. Well, ignorance is not an excuse. And since you decided to make a fool of yourself after I warned you all to go back to where you were coming from, I'm going to make sure all of you rot in jail where no one can rescue you. Since you decided not to go back to your respective homes in peace, you will stay here in the city with me, but behind bars. Next time, when you hear my name alone, you will run for your lives. Officers, take them away." Larry watched as the policemen took the weeping and wailing elders away to the police station before heading into the hotel with the young lady he came with. Akachukwu and the elders were taken to the police station and were immediately locked behind bars. Because Larry was very influential, he gave orders that the elders should not be allowed to write a statement. Instead, they were labeled as miscreants who went to Larry's hotel to cause mayhem. 5 days passed, and Akachukwu and the elders were still behind bars. No one knew of their whereabouts from the village because Akachukwu, the only person that knew Larry's hotel, was in jail with the elders. True to Larry's words, he made sure the elders suffered in jail. They didn't know that Larry had such a hard heart with no human sympathy. The food they were given was better suited for animals. And even so, it was only once a day that they got a meal. One of the elders, Adaji, who was a diabetic and hypertensive patient, started falling sick. He only came with a few of his medications when they left the village for the city. He didn't know that what was supposed to be a 1 to 2 day stay would turn into this. With his medication finished, Adaji notified the police officers of the need for his medication to be refilled, but they ignored him. He pleaded with them to please reach out to Larry and plead on his behalf, but they would not heed to his plea. One by one, the elders started falling sick because of the poor and unhygienic food they were given. The poor sanitary environment they were kept in also contributed to their ill health. Still, the policemen did not do anything to help the situation. It wasn't until Adaji became unconscious that they finally reached out to Larry, asking him to allow them to release the elders before they would all die in jail. That was when Larry gave orders for them to be released. He even came to the police station the day they were to be released to mock them. "Old, hungry, and greedy elders," he began, "I hope you have learned your lessons. You should thank your stars that I am in a good mood today, or else I would have allowed you to die here and those that are still alive would eat the dead. And you," he said, pointing at Akachukwu, "I hope you are enjoying your buildings in the city and in the village like you demanded in the marriage list you gave to me." It was easy to see through your greed the very first day you approached me. And unfortunately for you, you played right into my hands. Your daughter is mine now, and there is nothing you can do about it. You had better forget setting your eyes on her ever again, and if I ever see any of you close to my hotel again, that would be the last day you will live on this earth," Larry said and left them. He didn't even bother giving them some money to transport themselves back to the village. With Adaji unconscious and 2 other elders already very sick, Akachukwu and the 3 other elders that were still strong had to carry Adaji outside the police station and laid him by the roadside. People looked at them confused, wondering what was going on. No one cared to go close to them to offer help. with Adachi's breathing becoming very heavy and fast, Akachukwu threw caution to the wind and stepped out on the road in front of oncoming vehicles, shouting and calling for help. "Somebody! Anybody! Please help us! Please help us! Oh, my brother is dying! Please help us!" It was then that people stopped to help them. Some of the car owners immediately raised some money for them to take Adachi to the hospital, while one person volunteered his pickup truck, and they all got into the truck. Adachi and the other sick elders were then taken to a nearby hospital. Luckily for them, the hospital was well equipped and immediately placed Adachi on oxygen, gave him some injections while still running the necessary tests. The other sick elders were also well attended to. After 3 days, Adachi regained consciousness and could recognize people again. The other 2 elders were also looking much stronger than they did when they arrived at the hospital. When they were discharged, the balance of their hospital bill came to a total of 342,000 naira. They had initially deposited 98,000 naira that the car owners raised for them the day they brought Adachi to the hospital. Although discharged, Adachi and the other elders were not allowed to leave the hospital until they provided the balance. They spent an extra 4 days before finally luck shined on them. A non-governmental organization was on a hospital visit, and when they heard of Adachi and the other elders' plight, they offered to offset their hospital bills. They provided them with some money, from which they paid their transportation back to the village. On reaching their village, the elders all fell on their knees, thanking their ancestors for bringing them back home alive after a trip that turned into a nightmare. The king's men, there and then, vowed never to interfere with anything that has to do with Larry. But little did Akachukwu know that his misery was just beginning. He got home and could not find any of his 2 younger children. He ran to his kinsmen's homes, hoping that they were there, but no one seemed to have seen them. He also asked his neighbors if they had seen his children, but they too had no idea where they were. Akachukwu was almost running mad. He didn't know where to go looking for his children. He went about the whole village, searching for them. It was when he ran into his childhood friend that he finally got a clue of where his children could be. "Akachukwu, my friend, how are you? It has been a long time. Why are you looking so worn out and sick? I hope everything is alright." "Nju, my world is crashing before my eyes. As I'm talking to you, I cannot find my 2 children, Amara and Obinna. I have been looking for them for the past 5 days, and they are nowhere to be found." "I don't understand. You mean your children are missing, and you have not gone to the town crier to inform him? But wait though, was it not the other day that I saw one of your children in Opudo Market?" "Opudo Market? When, please?" "Few days ago. I saw him walking in the market and thought he came with someone to the market. Have you checked the market yet?" While he was still speaking, Akachukwu had already taken off in search of his children at the market. Opudo Market was not Ndani's common village market. It was the major market that connected Ndani and the neighboring villages. It was a bigger market than their market here in Ndani. Only sells on Eke and Nkwo market days. So, how did his children find their way to such a market as Opudo Market? Akachukwu wondered to himself as he hastily made his way to the market. As he reached the market, the place was almost empty. Searched all the market stalls and was about to come to the conclusion that they were not there when he saw someone lying on the floor in front of one of the closed stalls, sleeping. As he got closer, he screamed for joy. "Amara! Obinna! Oh, my ancestors! Thank you! Thank you!" Akachukwu excitedly hugged his children. "What happened? Why are you people here sleeping in the market? Why did you leave home? I have been searching for you." Papa, Obinna, his 14-year-old son, began. "We have been looking for you too. You told us that you'll be back soon when you traveled to the city, but you did not come. Amara and I were sleeping one night when a snake entered our house. We ran out and went to Papa Jidenna's house. But Mama Jidenna was always beating us and asking us to go back to our house. She would beat us and ask us to go to our farm and farm. When we finish, she will not give us food. Then one day, we saw Dogu, my schoolmate, who asked us to come with him to Opudo market and help people to carry their load on our head like he does after school. That is how I and Amara have been making money to eat until the next market day. We have been sleeping here since, Papa. Amara is always crying that she wants to go home. But that snake was very big and I am afraid. I am very happy you are back so that we can go home and kill the snake. I want to go back to school, Papa," Obinna said. "Oh, my children, I am so sorry. Chai! Well, why would Mama Jidenna treat you people like this? And I went to their house to ask if they had seen you, and they denied knowing your whereabouts. Oh, so because Papa Jidenna was not around, because he followed me to the city, she now turned you people to slaves. There is no problem. Anyway, I'm so happy to see you, my children. Let's go home now." As the days went by, Akachukwu knew that he had to do something before they all starved to death. As a retired railway worker who was not used to hard work, he had no choice but to start doing what Ugo was doing while she was with him. He started working on people's farms. He would weed and cultivate farms and then use the money he made to buy food for his family to feed. It was not easy for Akachukwu, but he had no other means of getting money since he was not being paid his pension. The lessons he learned in the past few weeks have made him value his children more. It was as if he suddenly realized that his children were his responsibility and not the other way around. However, one fateful day, tragedy struck. Akachukwu had gone to the farm to farm as usual. He had finished working on the farm he was paid to farm on and was on his way back home when he met a farm owner who was looking for someone to help her cut her palm nuts from the palm tree. Akachukwu quickly bargained with the woman for a price and accepted to climb the palm tree to cut the palm nuts. Meanwhile, Akachukwu had never climbed a palm tree in his life, but because he wanted to make more money, he agreed to do it. Even when the farm owner asked him where his ete was, he said that he forgot it at home, but would use the wrapper he tied on top of his trouser as a rope since the palm tree wasn't too tall. Ete is the rope palm tree tappers use in climbing a palm tree and is made from the outer back of the midsection of the oil palm frond. It is usually very strong and often replaced once it starts wearing out. This was what Akachukwu wanted to use his wrapper to replace. That tying both ends of his wrapper around himself and the palm tree, Akachukwu started climbing. He would lean back and then thrust himself forward as he climbed. Indeed, the palm tree was not too tall, which was why Akachukwu managed to cut the palm nuts from the tree. But as he was coming down from the tree, The wrapper loosened, and before Akachukwu could gather himself, he had already landed on the ground, screaming on top of his voice. It happened that there was an old rusted digger head that was stuck to the ground close to the palm tree. Akachukwu, when falling, landed his right thigh on the sharp edge of the digger. If not for the intervention of some village youths who, on hearing his cry and rescued him, Akachukwu would have bled to death. He was then rushed to the village health center, where he was given tetanus injection and other medications before they dressed the wound and sent him home. But the wound was so deep that it left Akachukwu limping. Try as he may, Akachukwu could no longer farm like he used to. He could only walk around with the help of a walking stick. He left his children with no choice than to go back to Opudo on market days to help people with their loads so that they could at least feed. Meanwhile, back at Larry's mansion, Ugo kept falling sick. Because of her state of mind, each time she took in, she would have a miscarriage. Unperturbed Larry would call a doctor to come and attend to her at home and carry out the necessary evacuation. Even while Ugo was yet to physically and mentally recover, Larry, desperate for a child from her, would go in to lay with her. He never for once tried to console her or make her feel loved. Instead, he would accuse her of being the one terminating her pregnancies. "I know you are the one responsible for getting rid of my babies in your womb. You appear innocent, but you are full of deception. You can't fool me. I will keep getting you pregnant and you will have my babies whether you like it or not. You are the one suffering in all this, so if you know what is good for you, you had better let my babies stay," Larry would say before leaving her. Larry never allowed her to attend antenatal, all because he wanted to cage her in his house. This same pattern continued until Ugo nearly lost her life from complications of her pregnancy. It happened that she had an ectopic pregnancy, and because she wasn't allowed access to early scan nor allowed to see a doctor as she should, pregnancy kept growing in her fallopian tube instead of the uterus. At exactly 7 weeks of her pregnancy, Ugo was about to take her bath in the morning when she felt a sharp pain on the lower part of her abdomen and screamed in pain. The pain was so intense that she couldn't make it to the door to call for help. She suddenly fell and passed out on the floor of her room. Thankfully, one of the cooks was coming upstairs at that moment to serve her food. It was the maid that raised an alarm when she saw Ugo lying lifeless on the floor. The doctor quickly arrived and, seeing the state she was in, knew that she needed to be attended to at the hospital immediately. Ugo was rushed to the hospital where they tried to resuscitate her while carrying out some tests on her, including a pregnancy test. When the pregnancy test came out positive, the doctor quickly called for a scan to be conducted. That was how they found that the baby was not yet attached to her womb, but had instead implanted on her left fallopian tube. Ugo, who was still unconscious, had to be operated on. In an effort to save her life, and because the growing baby had already caused some damage to her left fallopian tube, the doctor had to cut out the fallopian tube and stitched her back. But Ugo was yet to regain consciousness. Surprisingly, Larry came to the hospital to see Ugo. He came down because the doctor informed him of the seriousness of the situation and how Ugo was yet to regain consciousness even after all medical intervention. Larry and the doctor stood discussing Ugo's situation right there in Ugo's room. They felt that since Ugo was unconscious, she couldn't hear what they were discussing. It was there that the doctor told Larry that one of her fallopian tubes had been removed and she was now left with one. Larry didn't show any remorse or concern. Instead, he asked the doctor if Ugo was still going to be able to take in with the remaining fallopian tube, which the doctor said yes, but that it might be more difficult now. They finished discussing, and Larry asked the doctor to do whatever it takes to bring Ugo back to consciousness. Unknown to them, Ugo was regaining consciousness at that very moment and overheard the doctor and Larry discussing her issue. On hearing that her chances of getting pregnant naturally had reduced because one of her fallopian tubes had been removed, Ugo became suicidal. She was tired of living and wanted to end it all. But because she was under medical observation and didn't want to be revived back to life when she tries to take her life, Ugo waited until she was discharged. Back at home and in her room, she was more determined to kill herself. She looked around in her room for anything that she could use in harming herself, but couldn't find any. She then came up with an idea while acting like everything was alright. The following morning, when the cook came in to present her food, she was happy to see Ugo, looking very happy and cheerful. This was the same cook that called for help when she saw Ugo lying lifeless on the floor. "Good morning, Ma. How are you this morning? I'm so happy to see you well again. I was very scared when I saw you on the floor. Oh, this is the first time I am seeing you looking happy. I'm so glad and thank God you are doing well," the cook replied. "Thank you very much, Ma. May I know your name, please?" Ugo asked her. "My name is Elizabeth, but my grandchildren call me Grandma Lizzie. You are young enough to be my grandchild, so you can call me Grandma Lizzie," she said, smiling. "Once again, I am very grateful, Grandma Lizzie. If not for you, I would have been dead by now. Grandma Lizzie, can you do me a favor, please?" "Yes, dear. Please say whatever you want to eat, and I will prepare it very fast for you. I don't want you to be sad again." "No, Grandma Lizzie, I don't want you to cook anything for me. I want you to please give me your phone. I want to make a call." "But Ma, you know we are not allowed to do that. You know I am not even allowed to speak to you. But after seeing the state you were in the last time, I cannot help but be happy that you are well again. Please ask me any other thing and I will do it for you, Ma." "Grandma Lizzie, please do this one favor for me. I have been living here with no one to talk to. I just want to know how my father is doing. That is all. I won't ask you for a phone next time after now. Please do this for me, I beg you." "Ma, what you ask of me is very hard. If I get caught, I will lose my job immediately. I have already taken the risk to speak to you. Please forgive me, but I cannot do what you ask of. I'm very sorry," Grandma Lizzie said as she bowed and left the room. As she got downstairs, she became unsettled. She wanted to do as Ugo asked her to, but the fear of Larry was the beginning of wisdom. If he doesn't catch her on the CCTV camera now, he would catch her the day he decides to go through the recordings. After so much contemplation, she grabbed her phone and went upstairs to meet Ugo. "Ma, I know that giving you this phone might cost me my job, but if I don't do it, my mind will not be at rest. I see the way you stay here all alone. I cannot imagine any of my grandchildren going through what you are going through. For that reason, I have made up my mind to risk it all. If this is the last time I walk in this house, so be it." Grandma Lizzie said as she handed over the phone to Ugo. "You will never forget this kind gesture, Grandma Lizzie. Alive or dead, I will never forget. Thank you so much, Ma. Please, can you step outside the door for a few minutes? I will call you when I'm done with the call." Grandma Lizzie stepped outside the room and waited. Ugo quickly dialed her father's number. She called his number 3 times before he finally picked. "Hello," Akachukwu said. "Papa, it's me, Ugo," Ugo said, crying. "Ugo, Ugo, my daughter, is this really you? Oh, my daughter, please forgive me. I am very sorry, my daughter. Papa, you destroyed my life, my future," Ugo continued tearfully. "I begged you to allow me marry the man that I love, but you refused. I begged you not to allow Larry marry me, but you sold me off to him for money. I hope you are happy now, Papa. I hope you are enjoying the wealth that came with my marriage. Ugomo, please forgive me, my daughter. I live in regret every day of my life. I wish I can turn back the hands of time. I will give anything to see you again, my daughter. Please tell me where you are." "There is no need for that anymore, Papa. This will be the last time you will hear from me. But I forgive you. I pray that you find peace in this life and treat my younger ones better than you did to me. Tell them I love them with everything in me. Goodbye, Papa. Ugom, Ugom, please wait. Where are you? Please wait." Ugo cut the call while her father was still speaking. She turned off the phone to prevent him from calling her back, and then went to open the door for Grandma Lizzie. "Grandma Lizzie, you have made me a very happy woman. I shall indeed have peace now. I just need you to do one last thing for me. Can you please get me a fork for this pap, please?" Ugo asked with a fake smile on her face. "Fork? How can you use fork to take your pap?" "There is a spoon on the tray for you to use, Ma." "I know. I am just very happy today, and I want to remind myself of the silly things I did when I was a little girl. I used to use fork to take my pap, which takes me a long time to finish, but I did enjoy it. Please, can you get me one? I won't be asking you anything more today," Ugo said. If you say so, Ma. I'm going to get you one now. Give me a minute, please." Grandma Lizzie left to go and get the fork. "Here is the fork, Ma." "Like I said, Grandma Lizzie, I will never forget this kind gesture today, dead or alive. May the ancestors be kind to you for helping me. You may now leave, please. I want to take my pap," Ugo said. Grandma Lizzie felt that Ugo was up to something suspicious, but couldn't question her any further. This was the second time she was mentioning dead or alive. What could she be up to? She wanted to stay and watch her take the pap, but didn't want to appear disrespectful. She then left the room, but stood behind the closed door. Ugo, on the other hand, quickly picked up the fork. With tears streaming down her eyes, she aimed for the vein on her left wrist and started stabbing it with the fork. She cried out in pain, but kept on stabbing her wrist until she started bleeding. He wanted to quietly bleed to death. Immediately, Grandma Lizzie, who had her ears glued to the door, heard Ugo's cry. She quickly opened the door and saw Ugo sitting on the floor with blood splashing from her wrist. "I knew it! I knew you were up to something. Why do this to me, Ma? Now they will ask me who gave you the fork you used in harming yourself. Why are you so keen on killing yourself? Grandma Lizzie said as she took the fork from Ugo's hand. Although very angry at Ugo, she rushed down the stairs as fast as her weak knees could carry her, picked out some first aid items from the first aid box, and also grabbed her phone. She was climbing the stairs to Ugo's room. She quickly placed a call to the doctor, informing him of what happened. Ma, please stay with me. You will be all right. Whatever I can do to help you get out of this house, I will do it. Please stop trying to kill yourself, I beg of you. Grandma Lizzie said as she pressed and held on to her wrist with a gloved hand, trying to stop the bleeding. Ugo at that point was getting weak. She had lost a lot of blood. For someone who was still recovering from surgery not too long ago and never ate enough to replenish what she had lost, her body was weak to fight. Her legs were already getting cold and her throat felt dry. But Ugo was happy that soon she would rest from all the torture she had been through in Larry's hands. As she was closing her eyes, some people barged into her room. They were the medical team that came with the doctor. Without wasting time, they sealed off the wrist that was bleeding and placed her on blood transfusion. Then they put her on a stretcher and took her down to the waiting ambulance. After the incident, Larry called all the cooks and asked who gave Ugo a fork. He had warned them never to serve Ugo a meal with metal cutlery. He knew Ugo might want to kill herself, and so ordered them to only use a plastic spoon or fork each time they served her a meal. Grandma Lizzie quickly stepped out. I am the one, sir. I am very sorry. I didn't know she was planning to harm herself. Please forgive me. It won't happen again, I promise. The only reason you are still standing before me is because you were the one that called for help. If not, you would have been out of this house this very instant. Old woman, didn't I warn you all never to interact with her? What were you discussing with her that made her demand for a fork from you? If you can no longer focus on your duties in this house, let me know, and I will relieve you of your duties with immediate effect. Let this serve as a last warning to all of you. The next time such a thing happens, you will all lose your jobs. Back at the hospital, Ugo was responding to treatment. They kept her for a few more days and later discharged her. Before leaving, the doctor called Larry privately and asked him to make sure that Ugo was taken for therapy to tackle whatever it was that made her suicidal. Also asked him to desist from laying with her for at least 3 weeks to allow her to fully recover. Even with everything the doctor said, Larry was not moved to have compassion on Ugo. He waited for her to come back to the house and went straight to address her. So after killing all my babies in your womb, you now want to kill yourself too? For your information, you are my property. I own you. You can try to kill yourself as many times as you wish, because that is the only way you can be free from me. But until then, you will do as I say and perform your wifely duties to me whenever I want, Larry said as he stepped out of the room. To make sure Ugo did not try taking her life anymore, Larry dedicated a staff to watch her 24/7, but was not allowed to converse with her. The staff only left the room when it was time to retire for the night. Seeing all that had transpired in the past few weeks, Grandma Lizzie knew she had to do something to save Ugo. Although she was no longer allowed to serve Ugo her meals or go close to her, she was determined to find a way to save her. He waited until she was off duty on the weekend before putting a call through to the number Ugo had called on the day she used her phone. Akachukwu picked the call and listened as Grandma Lizzie told him everything Ugo had been going through. She ended the call, but not without asking him to come and rescue his daughter. After the call, Akachukwu wept bitterly. Here was an opportunity for him to save his daughter, but he could not do anything. The injury he sustained on his right thigh has relegated him to sitting down most of the time. He didn't have money to pay someone to go to the city to rescue his daughter, nor could he run to his kinsmen to help him after what they went through in the hands of Larry. Just when it seemed like all hope was lost, Chidy came into the picture. Chidy was the suitor that loved Ugo genuinely and wanted to marry her, but Akachukwu refused because he was an ordinary tailor. But life has been fair to Chidy. One of his customers, who got an appointment with the state government, connected him to top men that matter in the state. His expertise and fashion design sense turned the top government officials into his regular customers. His fame went so far that people outside the state and country paid him to sue for them. Chidy was so favored that some of the commissioners allocated contracts to him to execute. In the space of 5 months, Chidy had erected a beautiful duplex in the city for himself. A 2-story shopping plaza where he uses the entire down floor for his tailoring, which has expanded beyond his expectations. Although he had moved his tailoring shop to the city where he is based now, he also upgraded the one in the village and put people in charge to manage it for him. From time to time, Chidy would go back to the village to check on how his business was going. One fateful day, as he was coming back from the city, he saw Obinna and Amara, Ugo's siblings, as they were returning from carrying loads at Opudo market. "Obinna, Amara, how are you?" Chidy called out to them. "Uncle Chidy!" Obinna and Amara shouted as they ran to him. Chidy got down from his car and gave them a tight hug. "It's so good to see both of you. How have you been and where are you coming from?" "Uncle Chidy," Obinna started excitedly, "we just finished helping people to carry their load at Opudo market. Uncle, we made a lot of money today. Oh, we worked very hard. See, we made 1,200 naira today. My father will be very happy with us." Obinna continued. "You people carry what? When did you two start carrying loads in the market? What happened to your schooling? Are you people not going to school anymore?" "We still go to school, but on Opudo market days, we leave very early to the market to make enough money that we use in eating until the following week." "Why are you the ones making money for you to feed? What about your father? Where is he?" "He is not strong anymore. He fell from a palm tree and injured his thigh. Now he cannot walk well." "Is he at home now? Can I come and see him?" "Yes, uncle. Please come and see him." As they got home, the children excitedly dragged Chidy to where their father, Akachukwu, was sitting. "Papa, I don't know if you remember me, but my name is Chidy, Ugo's friend. How are you, Papa?" "Chidy, the tailor?" "Yes, Papa. How have you been faring?" Akachukwu, who was sitting on a chair, leaned back to observe Chidy from head to toe. From Chidy's appearance, you will know that he was doing well. Akachukwu then looked past Chidy to the jeep he came with. Are you the one that owns this jeep? Yes, Papa. Obinna told me of your injury and I came to see you and know how you are doing, Chidy said. While Chidy was still speaking, Akachukwu let out a very loud cry. Ewo Chimo! Chidy! The one I refused to marry Ugo to? Hey! Is this how life is? Chidy, my son, life has made me a mockery before my fellow men. I sit about all day like a cripple, unable to fend for myself and my children. The worst is that my daughter Ugo is being held hostage by the wicked man that married her. I cannot see my daughter Chidy. I used my hand and sold my daughter into slavery, all because of my greed. Now, look at you, someone I called a common teller. I know you must be laughing at me for my foolishness and what has become of me. And I don't blame you, but I have learned my lesson. Every day, I wish for death, but when I remember my children, Papa, please take it easy on yourself. Chidy cut him short. I am not here to mock you. I never knew you were going through so much all this while. I also did not know Ugo has been going through a lot. Shortly after her traditional wedding, a customer of mine connected me to his top friends, and I have been very occupied since then. I only come to the village occasionally. Thankfully, today I ran into Obinna and Amara. But first things first, I don't want them to continue carrying loads for people at the market. I will provide for all of you henceforth. Please, they should not miss school anymore. What did you just say, my son? That you will take care of me and my children after all I did to you? Oh, may the gods of our land be kind to you. You will never know sorrow all the days of your life, my son. Thank you, Papa. Now, please tell me everything you know about Ugo's marriage and how I can locate her. Akachukwu tearfully told him all that he and the elders had been through in the hands of Larry when they went to demand for Ugo's whereabouts, and the pain in Ugo's voice when she called him on the phone. As it stands now, my son, I don't know where my daughter and Larry live. A woman that works with them as a cook called me one time asking me to come and save my daughter from Larry. I have tried calling back that number to get more details of how I can find my daughter, but have not succeeded. I have tried it on several occasions, but it will ring and no one will pick the call nor return my call. It's all right. You will give me the name of Larry's hotel in the city, the number that you have been calling. I'm sure I will be able to locate the hotel. I will do everything in my power to rescue Ugo from the hands of this man called Larry. For now, let me get to the market and buy some foodstuff for you. I will be back, Chidy said as he left for the market. The following day, Chidy made his way to the city and headed straight to the hotel Akachukwu told him was Larry's hotel. On reaching there, he asked to see the owner of the hotel, but was instead referred to the hotel manager. Ever since the incident with Akachukwu and the elders, Larry instructed that on no account should they send people to him, except the people he had an appointment with. All Chidy's efforts to see Larry were unsuccessful. Finally, after seeking the counsel of his friends, he came up with the suggestion of suing Larry to court on behalf of Akachukwu, the father, for unlawful withholding of Ugo under the guise of marriage. He got a lawyer involved and the court paper was served to Larry through his hotel manager. During the court proceedings, Chidy's lawyer came up with a lot of proof to support the case, including the 5 million naira bounced check Larry presented as bride price. However, Larry used his connection and influence to turn the case in his favor. Although Chidy tried to use his own connections with top government officials to intervene, the case still died down. Meanwhile, Chidy had been calling Grandma Lizzie's phone number. Chidy called and called, but no one picked. But he was not ready to give up. He tried it yet again on a weekend, and finally, Grandma Lizzie picked the call. Chidy, after introducing himself, asked to speak with Ugo. But Grandma Lizzie told him that she was not on duty that weekend, as it was her time off. She told him of how she was no longer allowed to bring a phone to work after the suicide incident, which was why her phone was always at home, and that by the time she comes home during the weekend, the missed calls from different phone numbers will be too numerous for her to return. But Grandma Lizzie was happy that Ugo's relation reached out to her. She promised to provide Chidy with all the information he needed to rescue Ugo. Since Ugo was not allowed to leave Larry's house, Chidy knew that the only way to get to her was to break into Larry's house and rescue her. He started drawing his plans. Already, he had gotten the address of Larry's house where Ugo was. He went to check it out and found out that the mansion had a very tall fence with electric wires. So he knew that trying to go over the fence would not work. He then arranged with Grandma Lizzie on how she would add sleeping pills to the gateman's food on the day they were to break in. The following weekend, Chidy met with Grandma Lizzie at her home, and together they put the finishing touches to the plan. You are to carry out this plan on a Friday, because Mr. Larry is never home from Friday to Sunday, and my weekend day off starts from Saturday morning. I'll be there to help you on Friday night to unlock the gate for easy access. Once you make it into the house, you can then rescue my madam. Grandma Lizzie said, "Thank you so much, ma. You know that when Larry discovers that you are the one that helped us out, he will come after you. Therefore, I would like to make you an offer. I would like you to come work for me in taking care of Ugo. I'll pay you double whatever you are currently being paid. You can equally live with us in the house because Larry might trace you to your home. Please don't say no." "It's all right, sir. I don't need double pay. I am just tired of seeing my madam live in agony and isolation every day. Reminds me of my grandchildren, and I will never allow anyone to do that to any of my grandchildren. I will gladly work for you for a few more years and retire back to my home. By then, Mr. Larry would have forgotten all about me." Chidy thanked her and asked her to gather her valuable items together and wait for him the following weekend. Chidy made his way back to the village to inform Akachukwu of his plans to rescue Ugo. He also asked Akachukwu to pick his valuable items as he was taking him and the children to the city with him. The following weekend, Chidy picked up Grandma Lizzie's belongings and took them to his house. Meanwhile, he had concluded with the policemen that would join him in the rescue mission. Then the day for the rescuing of Ugo arrived. Arrangement was for Chidy to arrive at 11 p.m. that night. Grandma Lizzie waited until about 8 p.m. to serve the gateman his dinner. She added the sleeping pills to his food and went to his gate post to serve him. She returned back to the house with a smile on her face, knowing that in a few hours she'll be out of this house for good. She was still in thoughts when all of a sudden, the door to the main entrance opened and in came Larry, stepping into the house. Grandma Lizzie froze like someone who had seen a ghost. Her heart started beating very fast. She greeted Larry, who simply nodded at her and made his way upstairs to his room. Grandma Lizzie started sweating profusely. She was not expecting Larry to be back on a Friday, as he has never been home in all the weekends she had worked for him. She became very afraid because in about 2 hours, Chidy and the policemen would be here, and she could not call him to inform him of the new development since she was not allowed to bring a phone to work anymore. Grandma Lizzie was so afraid as she kept her eyes on the clock, which was now showing 9:34 p.m. and Larry was still in the house. She paced up and down in fear, watching the time as it ticked away. When the clock struck 10:15 p.m. and Larry was still at home, Grandma Lizzie almost passed out in fear. She made up her mind to go outside the gate and wait for Chidy and his team on the road so as to warn them. She was just about to step out of the house when she heard a door upstairs open. She quickly went into hiding as she watched Larry come down the stairs with a briefcase. He got into his car and honked for the gateman to open the gate, but the gateman was nowhere in sight. He waited and finally got out of his car. He dashed into the gateman's room and found him sprawled on the bed, fast asleep. He angrily kicked him with his foot and woke him up. What sort of sleep is this? Is this how you sleep deeply when you are supposed to guard the gate? Are you normal at all? I'm very sorry, sir. Please don't be angry. I will not sleep like this again, the gateman said as he quickly ran out to open the gate for Larry. As Larry drove out, he closed the gate and went back to his room, walking like a drunk. The sleeping pills were still very much effective. He hung the keys by the wall in his room and fell back on the bed, fast asleep. Few minutes later, Grandma Lizzie sneaked in and took the keys. She unlocked the gate and left it slightly open for easy entrance. Then she took the keys back to the gateman's room and hung it back. At exactly 11 p.m., Chidy and the policemen arrived. They parked their car outside, entered the compound, and headed straight for the entrance door. Grandma Lizzie, who was already waiting for them, quickly opened the door and led them to Ugo's room. Getting to Ugo's room, Chidy went to where Ugo was sleeping and gently woke her up. On seeing Chidy, Ugo screamed in happiness. Chidy, Chidy, am I dreaming? Oh my God, Chidy, what are you doing here? How did you find me? Ugo asked as tears rolled down her face. My love, this is not the time for questions. I will answer them later, but for now, we have to go. Without wasting time, Ugo got up and followed them downstairs and got into the waiting vehicles. Chidy helped Grandma Lizzie, who was walking slowly because of her age, to get into the car. Then he closed back the gate and they all left for his house. All this happened without anyone noticing what had happened. It was when the staff that was supposed to be looking after Ugo got to her room in the morning and could not find her that she raised an alarm. Larry, on hearing that Ugo was not in the house, rushed back home from his hotel room where he was spending the weekend with one of his numerous girlfriends. Reaching there, he went straight to his CCTV recording and saw how everything happened. He roared like a lion in anger. No! That old useless cook. So she was the one behind all this. No wonder she was acting all sneaky last night. Does any of you know where she lives? He turned to ask the other staff, but none of them had an idea. Where were all of you when this happened? Sorry, sir, but we had all retired to our quarters for the night. Please don't be offended, sir, one of them said. Don't be offended, you say? All of you are going to pay for this. Where is that stupid gate man? He asked as he stepped outside of the house. You laid there sleeping like a corpse when you were supposed to be on alert and notify me on time. Who knows, maybe you were part of the plan, but you were stupid enough to stay behind instead of escaping like that old wicked witch of a cook. Biro, Larry called one of his bodyguards. Take him away to the dark room and torture him until he says the truth. For now, I have somewhere more important to get to. He quickly got into his jeep with 2 other hefty bodyguards and his driver and headed straight to Akachukwu's village. On reaching there, Larry broke Akachukwu's fragile door with his foot and went in, shouting on top of his voice, "Where are you, old man? Show yourself at once and face me like the man that you are," Larry said as he entered each room looking for Akachukwu. His bodyguards searched in and around Akachukwu's house but could not find anyone. Why do I even bother myself over that little girl? After all, she couldn't give me children when her organs were complete. Now that her chances have reduced, she might never be able to conceive for me. She is equally useless to me. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Bango, Butcher, let's get out of here, angry Akachukwu said as they all got into the car and went back to the city. Back at Chidy's home, Ugo, on seeing her 2 siblings, Obinna and Amara, ran and gave them a tight hug. The 3 of them cried tears of joy. Akachukwu, on sighting Ugo, got up from where he was sitting and fell on his knees. Ugo, Adam, I have offended you greatly. Even the gods and our ancestors know that I have wronged you greatly. I am not worthy to be called your father anymore, but I have learned my lessons, and I have learned them the hard way. Please, my daughter, find a way in your heart to forgive me. I am truly sorry, Adam, Akachukwu said. Ugo went to her father and helped him up. Papa, I forgive you. I never knew a day like this would come. I thought I was doomed to die in that house. But here I am, alive and in the midst of people that love me. We have all learned a big lesson from this. Never to walk faster than our chi. Please stop crying. You are still my father, and I will never stop caring for you. She then turned to Grandma Lizzie. Grandma Lizzie, I believe that the gods kept you in that house long before I came, so that you can save me when the time was right. I am forever in your debt. Thank you for loving me like your own. You are like the mother I never had, Ugo said as she gave her a heartfelt hug. To the man who saw a simple farm girl and loved her with all his heart, the one who risked everything to save her from the lion's den. Thank you, my warrior. I don't know what the future holds for us, but I assure you of my unending loyalty and trust. Thank you so much, my king. May our ancestors be kind to you, even unto old age, Ugo said as she bowed to Chidy. He said, Amen. Thank you, my love. I will do anything to make sure a smile is always on your face. As for the future, I too may not know what it holds, but one thing I know is that you and I belong together forever. Life has been kind to me, my love. Now, all your dreams of becoming a lawyer and a senior advocate will come to pass," Chidy said as he pulled her into an embrace. "All right, we have all shed enough tears for the day. Ben, bring some bottles of wine from the fridge and some glasses too. It's time to make merry," he said to his housekeeper. And that was how Ugo's life changed for the better. She went back to study law and became a lawyer with her eyes still set on becoming a senior advocate. She and Chidy got married a few months after her rescue, and they both have 2 beautiful children. Her siblings continued with their education in the city, while Akachukwu was taken to a good hospital for further examination and treatment. As for Larry, 2 years after Ugo was rescued, he was arrested for money laundering by the Crimes Commission Agency. The court found him guilty and sentenced him to 18 years imprisonment with no option of fine. Thank you so much for following this story to the end. I hope this last part was worth the wait. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and click the notification bell to be notified when I post the next interesting story personally written by me. Until I come your way again soon, stay happy.